Hello, everyone, and welcome to Blow the Whistle Sports. I am your host, Wayne Holloway, and thank you for tuning in. Please like, subscribe, and share. And thank you for all your support for this 22 season, 22-23. Oh, my goodness, it was crazy. And, man, we got a good show planned out for you guys today. But let me introduce my co-host, Mr. Steven Rubain. How you doing, sir?
I am doing amazing. We made it through the NFL season. I mean, wow. It's hard to believe we went from 100 degrees in August to now 50 degrees in January. And, guys, it's the most exciting time of year, playoffs.
Oh man, it's an exciting time, but a sad time for somebody that's just into football like this. You know what I mean?
Yeah, it's kind of like it's almost like you see your girlfriend getting to leave you, but you got a little more time with her before she goes away to college.
Please, baby, please.
And you just want to get those last few moments in. So yes.
Hey, but before we get over there, hey, I told you who was gonna win this college football, man. I told you, Steve. I told you.
Yes. Well, I was just hoping for a better game. I thought at least TCU would show up, but we're gonna get into that in a second.
If you go back to a couple shows when I predicted TCU to upset, we knew it wasn't going to be a good game when TCU upset it because they weren't supposed to be there.
Yeah, I feel if you're the Michigan Wolverines, you gotta feel pretty bad right now because you lost to that TCU team that just got stomped on. So thank God you weren't in LA for that game.
Michigan would have gave them a game. I believe Michigan would have been a way better game, sir.
I don't know. The way I saw Georgia playing last night, I think Atlanta Falcons might have been in trouble.
Wow. Hey,
no, I'm just playing. No. NFL.
Hey, no. Hey, they were on the sideline. What they was eating chicken?
Eating chicken wings. I mean, that's when you just totally don't give it. You're like, hey, I'm a senior. I'm going to graduate anyway. We got this game won. I'm giving me some chicken wings.
My partner did the lighting and the sound for the stadium. He told me he was on the TCU side at first, and he said it was looking sad over there. He went over to the Georgia side. They was partying.
Oh, they were partying like I don't know what. And I think the thing I liked the most, I guess this was the first game where they really had a bad rainstorm during the game. And I guess the way the stadium's set up, that the rain can come through if it's coming in through sideways. But it said that the way it was set up, TCU sideline was getting all the rain, and the Georgia sideline was dry.
Oh my goodness!
So that must have been a sign for the game that if you were a TCU fan, you should have known early on it ain't gonna be a good day for us.
It's a shame. Hey, but you made it there. You have nothing to feel bad. Yes, you do.
Yeah, you do.
Yes, you do. I couldn't even fix my mouth to say it.
I'd rather be any other team but TCU after what they had to go through.
Man, I can imagine.
You can't sit there and say, well, at least we got second place. that don't feel good when that's like the box when we get to boxing later. That's like the boxer who got knocked out in the first round said, well, I did start the fight.
Hey, you didn't just at least get second place. You got stumped out.
Yeah. I can't ever recall a national championship game where a team, it was 65-7, but they could have easily got 100 points if they really wanted to, because there was no way they were going to get stopped.
It was so bad. Me and my wife were watching the game. We went to the movies. That's how bad it was.
That's bad.
We went to the movies.
That's bad. This game's over. Let's go catch a movie. We can find something better to do.
Oh my goodness.
But you heard, I guess the ratings came out, and basically that ratings for the national championship game in college football was about the same as what you get a typical week in the NFL season. I mean, that's how far college football has fallen, that it basically has gone down to the point of just being another NFL game. I mean, not even talking about a playoff game, just a regular season football game.
It's not even exciting anymore.
Well, they got one more year, and then they're going to go to the troll team playoff, and I think the troll team playoff is going to shake things up. That's what the NFL. That's what college football needs in order to really bring back that enthusiasm again.
Well, they also need to add that medical attention to the players for life. And you know what? That's a good thing to talk about too. The college and the NFL coming up with some combined effort to where players are taken care of that put their body on the line.
Yeah, I agree. It's interesting though. You really think about college football. I mean, we know players get hurt,
right?
you don't see those devastating injuries in the college game like you see in the pro game. As far as I mean, we definitely see players get hurt, and to the point of they can't play anymore, whatever. But you don't ever recall like a case where we saw like last week where someone has basically a heart attack on the field, cardiac arrest on the field, to the point of their life's in danger. I can't recall. I mean, there's been a couple cases like people have died in practice or like that, but it's just
but that's from over practicing,
right?
Not from the violence of the game.
Not from the violence of the game. It's just interesting that as many college football games as you see on every week, you just don't see the same gravity to injuries that you see in the pro game. So well, I don't know.
I think you have to chalk that up to it's college is still a gentleman's game, and they want them to play hard, but they're out there being respectable to each other.
Yeah.
In the NFL, you're trying to get that mighty dollar,
right?
And you're trying to make an impact, and you're trying to lay someone out.
Yeah, no question. I mean, the hit. I mean, I like the college football games targeting rule, where if you target somebody and they go and they can the officials can go, even if they're not calling the field, they can go back and look at it, and if the person is determined to be targeting, they're immediately ejected from the game and had to miss the next part of the next game as well.
Wow.
So I think the NFL may need to look into that. I think when people start losing some serious paychecks and start realizing that, hey, it maybe not worth me doing that hit across the middle.
Well, myself, I like the physicality of the game. I would like for them, like I said, to tune the helmets down to where it still protects the head completely, but you're not going to put your head as a missile and run into someone. I would like them. It's a way for them, like when I don't mean go back to the old leather helmets, but make that helmet to where if somebody was to run into somebody, it's going to hurt them as well.
Right.
You know what I mean?
No, I understand exactly what you mean. I mean, I'd be all for it. I think it'd be a hard sell for the NFL to actually do it. I mean, they've had many changes. This many years they've been talking about this issue with CTE and concussions and protecting the players. And let's talk about. We won't spend too much time on today, but
congratulations, Georgia.
Yeah, congratulations. Absolutely.
Congratulations. Uh-oh. We got the Bang Bang Niner gang in the house. What's up, James? How you doing, sir?
All right.
James Johnson, what's going on, sir? He said bang bang in the building.
Bang bang in the building.
Hey, it is what it is, sir.
All right.
Hey, James, make sure I'm going to let everybody know we have a playoff special that first time we're trying out. We're going to do it tomorrow, and I think this is going to be our format from here on out. Yeah. We're going to go through all the games from last week. We're going to go through our normal spiel, but tomorrow is going to be a playoff special where we get into the playoffs and we get into the nitty-gritty of what's going down.
Yeah, this week is so nice. We got to do it twice. I mean, there's just so much to talk about this week. We'd be giving the NFL wrong if we just try to rush in the playoffs and just our little short segment. So tomorrow we can really get into not just the playoffs itself, but we want to talk about our predictions at the beginning of the season. We want to talk about who we feel are the players of the year, coach of the year, all those good things, and just kind of like really give
you a full in-depth look at what's going on for this season.
Yeah, I mean, this year for the first time, they're gonna have a Monday Night Football playoff game. Did you hear that?
Hey, I'm loving it. I'm loving it. It's not gonna be just over on Sunday, where we gotta wait all week long.
I know. I mean, and it chose a great one. Cowboys at the Buccaneers.
You think it's gonna be great?
Well, it's gonna be great because number one, is it gonna be Tom Brady's last game? That's always a controversy.
It's a lot of speculation around that. It's a lot of speculation.
Then I can't wait to talk about the Cowboys tomorrow, because if the Cowboys lose on Monday,
dun, 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 dun.
Cowboy fans, it's gonna get ugly.
Hey, well, I'm gonna tell y'all, it is what it is. I told you about Philly, and I told you about that whole division.
Well, like
Fools gold.
You did say
they look good. They look good on paper.
We'll get into it tomorrow, because I want to talk about that Cowboys.
I can't wait till the show tomorrow. Oh, what's up, Darnell? James Johnson turned Darnell onto the show. Thank you, sir. Thank you, James.
Yeah, thank you so much. We just want to, like I said, we're just two sports fans, sports nuts who just we just love talking. We just love talking about the game we love. I mean, we're born around. I mean, look at this room. just sports everything. I mean, it's just all about the love of sports, and that's what we I want to hear you guys tell your opinions as well, because it's important. We want to get the back and forth. We want to get the feedback.
Yes. And I have to let you know the design of the room. I have to dedicate that to my wife. She does all the designing of the room, and she's going to revamp this room soon. She's going to revamp the room, and she got some more plans. So it's going to get even greater.
Yeah,
it's going to get even greater.
Looking forward to seeing it. Looking forward.
James Johnson said the Cowboys are sorry.
Oh, well, yeah, please call back tomorrow, because I want to get all the Cowboy feedback in tomorrow, because I got a lot to say about that Cowboys Commanders game that happened on Sunday. So
I know we all itching, but we don't want to get too ahead of ourselves, because we got to talk about that boxing match, man. That boxing match was outstanding.
Yes. What was it? Tank Davis. That's
Tank.
Maybe I don't want to get into too much of a boxing spiel, but I'm gonna get into a short one. Just
go ahead. Let me give you a close up. Let them know, Steve.
Now, Tank Davis is DC's finest. I'm from the DC area, and
DC.
When back in the day, boxing was like up there with let's say baseball. Baseball and boxing were probably two preeminent sports. Other than, of course, football, but boxing matches really were huge. Like, you had a guy like a Tank Davis, they would promote the heck out of him. His fights would be huge. I mean, he fought in his hometown at the Capital One Arena in DC. I didn't even find out about it until a day or two before the fight. What's going on with boxing? Why is boxing not getting the love it used to get 20, 30, 40 years ago? I mean, this should have been a huge fight, pay-per-view fight. And it just kind of was like, whatever.
I believe boxing is not big because everybody believes boxing is truly fixed. And I've always said, I'm not into that word fixed, because people always cheat in everything.
Right.
But when it comes to boxing, it's gotten boring.
Yeah, it's gotten boring. But back in the day, all the great fighters fought each other in the prime of their careers. And I think right now there's just too much posturing and not enough fighting. Yeah. We got to get back to the days where the Tank Davis he's fighting against the elite fighters again.
Yeah.
Right now I got about 4 or 5 fighters that are all elite fighters, and they won't fight each other. They're waiting until they get too old. And I think they started with your boy Floyd Mayweather.
And we're
gonna get into I am.
I knew you was gonna bring him up,
because he has killed the boxing game.
Well, you know what? I believe that if they promoted a Floyd fight, everybody and their mama and grandmama and uncles and cousins would know. You know why? Because that promotion company knows how to build a fight. They built that fake fight with him and what was the UFC fighter name that he fought?
McGregor.
That the fight that didn't even count,
but that's what I'm saying.
They made it count.
But that's what killed boxing, though. That people just look at it as it's a joke. It's like they don't take the seriousness of the fight like it used to be. I mean, I remember my very first, my dad, who was a huge Muhammad Ali fan, brought me on to boxing in the 70s. And, it was like anything Muhammad Ali did, it was not just a boxing match. It was a spectacle. It was bigger than life. I mean, he was bigger than life. And
I remember my first match with, well, not my first match, but when I really got into it was Mike Tyson, Iron Mike.
Yes.
And I'm talking about, we knew a fight was coming a whole month in advance, and you could feel the anticipation. Everybody was geeked up, and it would be 50 people in one house watching the game.
Right.
Watching just sitting there, got the food going, and you mad because Iron Mike get in there and knock somebody out in 45 seconds. Get in there and get in the guy. But it was exciting.
But that was the thing about it, that during the time of Mike Tyson, it wasn't like he was trying to say, who should I fight? Who should I get the most money out of? He took on all comers. He just was like, put the next person in front of me and I'm going to knock him out. There was not that sense of, let me try to promote this fight and let's see how I'm going to.
Yep. James Johnson said they run from other fighters that they know boxing watered down now. Boxing is watered down now.
Yeah, and that's the problem. It's watered down. We're waiting for those big fighters to make it big fights, and it's just not happening now. And so I want to get back into boxing. I mean, in the last 10 years, the only 3 fights that people have really gotten super geeked up about were the heavyweight fights between Wilder and Fury.
Yes.
And the only reason why is because people knew those two we're going to bring it. I mean, they had no other choice because of the way they fight. And so people were excited for those fights for that reason.
We need another fighter, or we need multiple fighters that had the mindset of Mike Tyson, with the mindset of Goldberg. Who's next?
Yeah, who's next? Bring it on.
Whoever's the best, step up and get knocked down.
And that's what the fighting game needs. I mean, there are some good fighters out there who could really boost the sport up, but they won't go against each other.
Boxing needs to step in and get the commission together and get a bracket together where people have to fight each other, where you can't duck and dodge people.
I agree. I've always been a fan of that because, I mean, that's the only way it's going to save the sport. I mean, I'll give mixed martial arts credit because it's kind of like taking over where boxing is.
Right.
They set up the big fights now. You have the top guys fighting against the top guys, but in boxing, it's just, like people are like saying now, Tank Davis needs to fight Ryan Garcia. All right, let's make it happen. Let's not stop keep talking about it.
He should want it to happen because it'll be a big purse.
Yeah, not just a big purse, but to promote the sport. I mean, it has to be more than just about money. I mean, you can, if you have a certain name, you can get $1 million fight now.
Right.
But if you just keep finding guys who are, I won't say easy fighters, but just guys who aren't at the elite, you're gonna it just doesn't bring the energy that people want. People want to have a fight where it's like two guys who are like, I wonder who's going to win. That was always my issue with Mayweather. He never fought against a guy who was like, that guy really could beat him. You just always felt like, oh, Mayweather's just going to win the fight anyway.
I guess my biggest thing with fighting, and I was a Mayweather fan, so maybe because of what you said, it made me jump in here and have to say this. I don't like when you have a fighter like Mayweather that has a clean record, and you want him to fight somebody that you believe can beat him, but they have nothing to lose. See, the thing about fighting, let's say if me and you were fighters and you were fighting over there and you're collecting belts over there, you're a champion, right? Mm-hmm. And I'm collecting belts over here and I'm a champion. I have these belts, you have these belts, and then we come together and fight. You have a clean record, I have a clean record. When we come to fight, it's something grand because whoever's the winner takes all the belts and he's the one on top.
Right.
When I fight somebody that's a good fighter, like when they wanted Mayweather to fight Pacquiao at that time had 2 or 3 losses, and this is in his prime when they said that he was ducking and dodging them.
He was.
But I'm all for that. But why should I fight somebody that has 2 or 3 losses? See, the mindset is this. If you get in the ring and you don't have any losses, I don't have any losses. When we're in there fighting, it's a chess match. But if you have losses, you have nothing to lose.
Right.
You can go all out and take punches that you wouldn't normally take because you don't want to lose. You've already lost, so you can take extra chances.
Okay, but let me ask you this question then. Let me tie it to this. Now when Muhammad Ali fought Joe Frazier, basically your mindset, he would have ducked and dodged that fight because he's like, man, why am I going to take a chance with this guy? This guy's a beast, undefeated champion. Why am I going to fight him? I didn't say anything about ducking and dodging somebody that's undefeated and I'm undefeated. If Mike Tyson took your mindset, he would have ducked and dodged Evander Holyfield. Holyfield had 3 or 4 losses when he fought him. Why am I going to fight this guy who's a beast, who already has 3 or 4 losses, and check myself? That's what I'm saying. The greats, Ali and Tyson, are almost known more for their losses than their wins, right? Because their losses were against beasts, and they took on the best comers.
Their losses were devastating.
They were devastating, but you respect them because with Ali, there's nobody you can sit there and say, man, Ali ducked and dodged that guy. He didn't fight that guy. He took on everybody.
I agree.
And even with Tyson, now Tyson did have the jail sentence, and he didn't fight Holyfield truly in his prime. They were supposed to have the Holyfield fight before he went to jail.
They said, Steve, you're comparing old school legends to new booties.
Well, yeah, but that's the problem. But that's what I'm saying. Boxing has gone down because the old school legends is what made boxing great.
Those guys were legends before they were old school.
Right.
These guys right now are something different.
Yeah, remember, boxing was around long before Ali and long before Tyson. But those guys fought everyone. I mean, in the old days of boxing, it was never a question. You had no choice. You had to fight the best because that was the only way you're going to get a money fight.
But see, back when Tyson and Tyson was fighting, they used to make you fight the best person, or you would have to relinquish the belt, right?
Well, absolutely. But the
So
question
what
though
happened to that?
well, once again, you go with the Floyd Mayweathers, who he'd be like, well, okay, I'll just move a weight class. I don't want to fight that guy, so I'm going to move it to the next weight class and get the belt up. I mean, you're laughing now, but this is what happened. Remember, Floyd Mayweather started as what? Almost not on a flyweight, but I think he was like a junior lightweight.
Okay.
And by the time he moved up, he was all the way up to like welterweight, junior welterweight. I mean, even Pacquiao went up like 8-9 classes. I think Pacquiao first was like a flyweight and then moved all the way up to junior welterweight.
Yeah.
These guys, they would go ahead and just, okay, I don't want to fight that guy. I'll relinquish the belt and move to the next weight class. And that's what's been happening a lot in boxing now. It's guys are just jumping around. Let me find who's the fighter that's going to make me look the best, rather than who's the fighter that's going to give me the best fight.
And I believe that's not the fighter's fault. That's boxing's fault.
Oh, I'm agreeing with you. I'm saying that boxing needs to do something to save itself, because it's just not what it used to be. I mean, I compare boxing to baseball. You know, baseball used to be the preeminent sport in our country, and now baseball's still good. There's still times when you might see a good baseball game here and there, but nobody gets excited about the World Series anymore like they used to back in the 60s, 70s, and 80s.
Yeah, I mean, back in even the 90s, I remember us sitting around watching Fernando Valenzuela throw shutouts. Remember?
Oh yeah, absolutely. And I mean, and he took the whole town by storm. I mean, now I'm thinking about the World Series now. I can't even remember who won the World Series, and it just happened 2 months ago.
They say MLB loaded with cheating.
But that's a whole nother. Well, the cheating is what probably started the downfall, was this steroid scandal. But I like the steroid. I mean, during the time when McGuire and Sosa were killing the ball, I loved baseball back then. To be honest with you, I don't have a problem with guys doing performance enhancing drugs as long as they don't do it out of control. Because let's be honest, you can do all the performance enhancing drugs all you want to. You got to be able to know how to hit the baseball. It ain't like anybody can just do a steroid and then hit 500 feet home runs.
Hey,
I mean, Barry Bonds was talented. What's his name? Roger Clemens was talented. McGuire was talented. Canseco was talented. Those guys were talented guys. It wasn't like, oh my God, all of a sudden they went from 1 home run to hitting 60 home runs. So I don't have a huge issue. I think the steroid thing was blown out of proportion, because people have always cheated in sports. I mean, let's be honest. Any advantage.
Anytime you have a human involved in something, somebody's going to try to get a step up. It's not fixed, but we have to catch the people, and the way we can catch the people is by implementing instant replay. So when somebody says something stupid, like in basketball, they've gotten good with it. They'll stop it and be like, hold up. And they'll freeze frame it, and we'll go back and look like, man, I didn't foul him, and they'll take it back.
Yeah, no, I agree. I agree with you on basketball. Speaking of basketball, we haven't really spent much time talking about it.
Double dribble.
Yeah, I remember saying early in the season, I said basketball really doesn't start till Christmas time. That's when the NBA kind of starts showing itself a little bit. You start kind of getting an idea. And what I'm getting from the NBA this year is that there really is no dominant team like you would see in past years. The NBA usually always is a sport where you would have that super teams, going back to the Bulls with Jordan, going back to the Lakers with Kobe and Shaq, even, the 90s with the Warriors. It's kind of now anybody's game. And I'm looking at the standings now, getting almost at the halfway point. You got about 5 teams in the East: the Celtics, Nets, Bucks, Sixers, and Cavs, all within 3.5 games of the first spot. In the West, you got Nuggets, Grizzlies, Pelicans within 2.5. But then when you start from 4 to 12, they're all within like 3 games of each other. So anyone from the 4th spot to the 12th spot is like a 3-game separation. I mean, I've never seen it before like this, where you just have so many teams. I'm gonna use the word mediocre. I'll just say average. There's a lot of average play in the NBA this year.
7 Kevin says NBA of today sucks.
Yeah. I won't say it. I won't use the word sucks. It's not what it used to be.
It's not cracked up what it used to be.
You still have the star power, but you don't. The star power it's not how the star power used to be.
Uh-huh.
You can't rely on the stars like you used to. They're now more up and down. It's more, you don't know any given night what you're going to get. You know, Jordan always produced. Kobe produced. LeBron produced at his young age. Now they take days off. LeBron might get 43 points one night, and then the next night, he's out. Yeah, I mean, it's NBA got to figure something out. They got to figure out what they can do to.
They need the next best person now.
Yeah, because right now it's still getting solid ratings, but they need to learn from baseball and boxing. If you start messing with things, people will leave.
But see, I think that's another reason, because I used to be really into basketball. I still love every sport, but football is the one true thing that still holds true every year. That's like gladiators fighting to make it to that big dance.
Well, yeah, but the NFL has a couple issues to talk about as well. We're going to get to those. They got, I mean, we all know about what happened last week. I'm not going to get into all the details. Thank God, he's doing so much better.
He's doing fine, people. He's doing fine.
Thank God for that. I mean, that's a miracle. But unfortunately, like we mentioned last week, I think the NFL kind of like went, thank God he's okay.
Man.
Back to normal, the shield. Let's go back to how things have been. And so
that's
I don't
a blessing.
see any...
That man was on the field for 9 minutes getting CPR.
But
no air.
I know.
Getting air pumped into him and getting his chest compressions.
Yeah.
And he's fine.
I know. I mean, it truly is a miracle. But the devil's advocate is that the NFL is not going to make those changes necessary. And so they're going to we'll just kind of go along with the same game plan until the next one happens, and then we'll deal with it then. So I hope I'm wrong. I hope that in the offseason they really sit down, like you mentioned before, the helmets, other things they can do to change the game. But I just have a feeling that they're going to be like, well, we escaped one there. Thank God. He didn't die on the field, and let's just continue on with what we got.
Hey, well, while we on NFL, you know what we need to go to? Coaches, man. It's a carousel going on right now, Steve.
Oh yeah.
Where do we start?
You want to start? Let's start with your team first. Let's go with your team, the Carolina Panthers.
Hey, Cali Cat Pack, Roaring Riot, Panther Nation. Holla at your boy. Hit me in the DMs. What's up, Derek? Oh man, Derek is my boy. He's the moderator for Cali Cat Pack, and they've been inviting us to come out to some of the bars to hang out with everybody. But I'm gonna be honest, we are going to make it. I promise you, next season we will be there for a game. My thing is this: I'm such a huge fan. I hate negative energy.
Yeah. I used to love to do the bar scenes, but I'm gonna ask you the question too. The worst thing you get at the bar scene was that person who talks a lot of smack and don't know what they're talking about.
Oh my goodness.
That just, when someone who's a true sportsman, that just drives you up a wall where you're sitting there and you got somebody talking to your ear, talking some nonsense and has no clue what they're talking about.
Don't know,
and then
nothing.
And then you get into it and you want to try to correct them, and then they get all upset and they turn to a whole. That turned me off to the bar scene, because it's like you spend more time arguing with somebody over something stupid than actually enjoying the game.
Yep.
Or you got that one person who's like just screaming loudly for no reason.
Or another diehard fan that's supposed to be on your side. It's the first quarter, and he's already talking about we're gonna lose, and we're only down by 3 points.
Yeah,
I don't like that.
All those things just drive you away from it. It's nice the best thing is now, especially when you got the NFL package. It's really that. Are you gonna be okay with now the NFL package now turning from DirecTV to
YouTube
TV?
I'm gonna
be okay with you.
Hey, you know how long I've been waiting to get rid of DirecTV? Do you know how much DirecTV charges you an arm and a leg?
Yeah,
where you can get the same programming at Spectrum from a third of the cost.
Yeah, I just got some question marks about YouTube TV. Trusting it to be on the internet. I have a bad feeling there are going to be some games. They're going to end up being blacked out. They're going to have internet issues. Just, I'm a little nervous about. TV seems to be pretty reliable for the most part. There hasn't really been any major glitches. I mean, you get your occasional game that gets a glitch,
I'm just happy there's no more monopoly with DirecTV.
Yeah, DirecTV has been a monopoly. That's for
Man,
sure.
they've been holding me at gunpoint since the package came in there.
Yeah, I know.
The package, whoever thought of the package, thank you.
Yeah, it was genius.
Thank you. I want to thank you for that because I get to watch I would miss like more than half of my games.
I mean, you just can't imagine back in the day when you lived in a certain area that you had no choice but to watch that game for that hometown team, no matter who they played. And you were there was like that great game on, the rest of the country's watching, and you're stuck watching your home team who sucks that year. You got to watch a horrible game. And you're like trying to, it was even before the internet days when you couldn't even go on the internet and catch things. So you had to wait for the highlight. Like, God, I wonder who's winning such and such game, man. And you're watching the little thing across the screen. And you're like, oh my God, so-and-so's ahead in the third quarter. And then you don't hear nothing else until like middle of the fourth quarter. You're like, God, can somebody tell me who's ahead in the such game? Oh.
Or you have to go on the internet and just watch the score go up and down.
Oh, I'm talking about
watch a little football go across the screen.
I'm talking about before the internet. I'm talking about back in the day when you didn't even have internet to go into to watch it. You were totally dependent on so-and-so, the highlight, the announcer of the game, to give you those score updates.
You had to go find a radio station.
Yeah.
What city your team is in, so you can hear it.
Yeah, if you're lucky to get the radio station that has your team. If your team is playing where your radio station have it, you were stuck with nothing else but the game.
James Johnson said you better get Superbox. Pay one price. All you need is internet. You can watch anything you want for free.
Oh, we're gonna look into that. Superbox. I'm gonna definitely look into that. That's a good idea because I'm interested to see how it's gonna work on YouTube TV. It's gonna be interesting. This year, the Amazon. Speaking of which, Amazon Prime did the Thursday night games this year, and I saw the ratings came out, and they expected the ratings to be lower than you would get on the TV games, but they were about like 3 or 4 million less people watching each Thursday night game than the year before. So that's
they're probably going to take it from that because not everybody's going to buy into that.
Right. Well, that's the thing. So few people had Amazon Prime access. I mean, even talking about some of the bars and stuff like that, some of them might have even had access to Amazon Prime. So that kind of really killed a lot of the watching of the sports.
It's sad because everybody doesn't have money to have those luxuries.
Right.
And what's wrong with them having a Thursday game and then the games that come on the Sunday morning? Those games, some people, they live for those games.
I agree. I mean, this is going to be interesting. I mean, let's be honest. They want to get to the point where it's going to be pay-per-view football. You're gonna have all your choices of the game, and you can pay $4.99 a game, whatever, and you can watch your hometown team.
Greedy, man.
I mean, it's all about money, so that's what they're heading towards. But I mean, it's gonna be interesting to see what becomes of this change to the YouTube TV for the Sunday package, because, like I said, a lot of the bars and stuff, they might not be able to get the internet onto all their TVs. There's, some of the sports bars that might have 45, 50 TVs, all,
7 Canvases, I heard Amazon was getting a lot of disruptions.
Yeah. Oh, I mean, I had quite a few of them where they would glitch during the games. So, I mean, it's an interesting issue. I mean, there's going to be a problem with that.
I'm gonna tell you what's irritating. I be on the phone with him a lot when we're watching the game, and his stream is like 2 minutes before mine.
Oh yeah.
So I'm watching the game, wondering what's about to happen. He's already
telling him to play.
Yeah.
He's like, what happened? I said, so got an interception. You didn't see it? It's like, no. And then like a minute later, the interception happens. So yeah, I mean, these are all serious concerns. I mean,
and do you have the package?
No, I don't have the package. That's what I'm saying.
I'm paying all this extra money. He just has the red zone, and he gets to play the plays before me.
Yeah.
Makes no sense.
Makes no sense at all. And so it's
we got our so we're talking about coaches. So like I said, Mr. Temper, we want Steve. We want Steve as our coach. Mm-hmm. Harbaugh, I wouldn't be mad at Harbaugh, but the fan base, the team likes Mr. Wilkes, and we would like to stay with him.
I'm going to be honest with you. If they really truly wanted to keep Steve Wilkes, you're not interviewing 4 or 5 different coaching candidates. You might bring in 1 or 2, like you might think might be a possibility, but the Panthers are going hard on coaching search. And so to me, when I see that, that means they've already made up their mind that Steve Wilkes is not going to be the coach, and they're going to just go with whoever they feel is the best choice.
Hey.
I mean, you got Frank Wright interviewing Jim Caldwell.
Mm.
I mean, who else? Kellen Moore, the offensive coordinator for the Cowboys, are all interviewing for the job.
You better not get him.
I mean, there's something. I mean, they really seriously are putting a lot of energy into this coaching search. So
they need to listen to the fan base sometime.
Yeah, I hope he gets it. I hope Steve Wilkes gets it, but it's not a good sign when you see this many coaches interviewing for the job. So
we'll is see. What it is.
But that's the Panthers. Let's get into Lovie Smith.
Woo-wee.
Lovey. This man gets no respect.
No respect?
No respect. This man.
Tell me what you're saying.
Did he not lead the Bears to the Super Bowl? I mean, I know it seemed like it was like an eternity ago.
Yeah. Lovie Smith led the Bears to the Super Bowl?
Yeah. They who did they lose to? They lost to the Colts, right?
Steve. Lovie Smith is a Texan right now. Why you want to talk about his old accolades?
Well, I'm talking about as a coach, this man he has a resume. I mean, he's done some stuff. I mean,
okay.
Now lately he's had some tough times, but okay, but
he won 3 games, Steve. What you mean lately he had some tough times?
Well, time out. Look what the Texans put on the field. I mean, at some point, you can't blame a coach when they got nobody. Who are they starting? Name me who on the Texans you would want to keep for your team.
I didn't pick none of them up in fantasy.
Exactly. So, I mean, you knew going into the season the Texans were going to. I mean, it wasn't like someone was like, oh, my God, the Texans underachieved. Texans did exactly what was expected to do for the talent they had on the field. They had Davis Mills as quarterback.
Are you talking bad about him?
No, I'm saying he is what he is. Davis Mills is a great backup quarterback. He's not somebody you want to be your franchise starter.
Hey, that I would honestly say that owner destroyed that team.
Yeah,
he destroyed it. Single-handedly destroyed it.
I mean, speaking of which, J.J. Watt retiring this week. I mean, he should have retired a Texan. I mean, if anybody should ever retire a Texan for what he brought to that organization, how they let that man go.
Put perspective on it. This team had Clowney, had Watt. They had
Whitney Merciless when he was playing well.
Deshaun Watson. They had Hopkins, and Fuller. That's his name. That's the guy that we couldn't remember. Fuller. They had one piece to get, which was a dominating running back.
Right.
And the running back they had Arian Foster, but after he retired,
they went David Johnson. Johnson for a little bit. He was already beat up.
Yeah, but it was mediocre. One more piece they needed was a running back. And this owner destroyed that team.
I mean, I'm not going to question you on that, but I'm saying this is now going to be the 4th coach in the last 4 years.
Okay, so Lovie Smith takes it, and I think he was going to keep the job. Lovie Smith messed up in that last game of the season.
Oh, because he won?
Yes.
Yeah. Well,
now let's talk from a business point. Listeners, anybody out there. James Johnson, Seven Kevins, whoever, and Darnell, who's watching us on YouTube, everybody's watching us on YouTube. Tell me, if you have a coach and you expect him to come back next year, the Texans had the number 1 pick overall. Now, Steve wants to let you think like, oh, because he won the game. From a business perspective, the coach should have not won that game. So
he should have tanked.
Huh?
So he should have tanked?
Steve, it was week 18.
Yes.
They won 2 games.
Right.
They've already tanked, Steve.
Okay, so
due to the talent, they've already messed up. But so now at the end of the season,
he
made it to where they don't even have the number 1 pick overall anymore.
No.
Now they could have got their franchise quarterback, because this season is the season of quarterbacks where this is supposed to be the pick of the litter.
Right. Well, there's supposed to be the guy from Alabama is supposed to be probably one of the best prospects since Mahomes. So
the Bears have the number 1 pick.
Right.
They already have Justin Fields. It will behoove them to trade the pick to get some collateral and a bunch of picks.
Yeah.
And now the Texans can lose their cream of the crop quarterback that they want.
Oh, absolutely. I mean, it's going to be a hot pick, so you better expect somebody's going to move up to get it.
You don't think Lovie Smith should have been fired for that?
No, because you came into the season. you got what you want. You hired him.
Yes.
You hired him under the guise of you wanting him to do what? Tank? Is that why you hired him?
No.
You hired him to win games.
Yes.
So he won games for you, given the lack of talent he had.
No, he
so,
won.
So why
he won 2 games, and then at the end of the season,
but
when it's time for us to think, because that one win, I'm gonna tell you from honestly, and Cali Cat Pack, Roaring Riot, Panther Nation, I didn't like us winning the last game of our season, even though we ended on a positive note. But we moved up when we could have got a lower pick, where we could have got a higher pick.
So you're saying the same thing about Steve Wilkes then? You're saying Steve Wilkes won himself out of a job. If he would have tanked those last 6 games.
No, see, we still would have been in the middle somewhere.
But no,
Lovie Smith gave up the number 1 pick overall.
But you could have lost those last 6 games and be in contention for one of those top 2 picks.
No, what he did was he won the same amount of games, basically, that I can't even remember the guy we got rid of name. That guy,
Matt Rule?
Yeah, he won 6 games in what, 2 or 3 years?
Yeah.
Steve came in in the middle of the season and won as many games as that man did in 3 years.
That's me.
He showed his worth.
I'm agreeing with you, but right now, obviously, the Panther organization saying we don't see his worth because we're going to go out there and interview every kind of coach we can because we don't feel confident in what Steve Wilkes brought to us. I mean, there's no other reason why you were bringing 5 candidates to interview other than you don't feel confident in Steve Wilkes' ability. I mean, that's bottom line. So I mean, it's a tough call. Is coaching about winning or is it coaching about tanking? I mean, that's
all right. Well, moving right along to the Rams coach.
Well,
why is he in peril?
Well, can I tell you why?
Tell me.
I'll be glad to. And we had this argument last year.
We're about to have another one now because I can see the look.
You know where I'm going. Now, last year there was a big trade. The big trade of the offseason 2 years ago.
Yes, sir.
The Lions, who at this point Matthew Stafford was pretty much just he is what you can get. I mean, he was done with the Lions. Lions were done with him. They pretty much could have released him. But the Lions said, hey, he got value. So let's see what we can get.
Right.
Now, the Rams, who were I don't know why they were desperate, because to me, Jared Goff, the year before, had led the team to the Super Bowl. So he was only 22, 23 years old, young guy.
Right.
For whatever reason, your coach there was so enamored of Stafford that he traded away the whole organization to get Stafford. Was it 3 number 1s, a number 2, and player? So it was a great 1 year. Stafford came in, led them to the Super Bowl championship.
Did his thing.
Had the one
I
team.
said soon. I say soon as they picked him up, I said Super Bowl.
And I said, and I remember saying at the time, I said, the only thing that can make the trade worthwhile is the Super Bowl. But let's see long term.
But you said it wasn't going to happen.
Well, I didn't. At the time, I didn't believe he was going to do it. But that being said, let's see long term how it's going to play out for the Lions.
All right.
Now, 2 years later, the reality set in. The Matthew Stafford that I know and love has come out.
You crazy.
The organization has tanked now to the point of being a top 5.
Everybody got hurt.
Well, call it what you want to call it. And now you got a severe situation.
Calling it what it is.
The coach is seeing the writing on the wall. He's looking at, okay, yeah, everybody got hurt. Who got hurt? Cooper Kupp. Who else got hurt?
Matthew Stafford.
Like I said, he's seeing the writing on the wall. And what the writing on the wall is saying is that, do I really want to come back with Matthew Stafford again? Do this Stafford Kupp thing again when it wasn't working before he got hurt? So let's remember, they weren't doing too well before Stafford got hurt. And the coach sees it, McVay sees the day-to-day, and he sees that Stafford's skills are deteriorated. And so he's like,
boy, you be throwing some rocks, Steve.
I'm just calling like it is.
You be throwing some rocks. Oh, my goodness.
Let me ask you a question. If McVay truly felt like Stafford coming back was going to be a win-win, do you think he'd be talking about retiring now?
So off of this same analogy, I guess the Green Bay coach should be fired too for giving Aaron Rodgers all that money.
Oh, no, that's the organization. But time out. Who was the one who told you at the time that they made that deal? I told you it was a horrible deal for the Packers. I did. I made it clear to you there's no ever to give $50 million to an NFL quarterback under any circumstance.
You know what? Let's open these phone lines.
Yeah,
man.
please, because we got a lot. They get this man $50 million. The whole rest of the organization probably getting paid less than $50 million. How can you have a cohesive team when the whole rest of the team's looking at this man's making more money than all of us combined?
If you want to talk to us, call in 818-396-5080.
Let's get into Aaron Rodgers before.
Aaron Rodgers.
Aaron Rodgers, my favorite guy. I love to just go off on.
Him and Kirk Cousins.
Oh, yeah. I don't know who I go off on worse. I'll at least give Aaron Rodgers the credit. He does have one Super Bowl ring where Kirk Cousins doesn't even have a playoff win. So I guess I got to give Aaron Rodgers a little more dirt. Aaron Rodgers comes out, and before this big game against the Lions, he's going to go out and demean the whole organization, saying, I guess they're not the same old Lions anymore. I guess now they got somewhat of a quarterback. They got maybe a couple running backs.
The wrong thing to do.
This man lit up the whole locker room. I mean, you want to talk about bulletin board material. They must have had to get a couple bulletin boards material to go off in this game. I felt good for the Lions. It was good. I would have loved the coach to come out more and just be like, you heard the coach did come out in the post game and say, yeah, I guess we're not the same old Lions anymore. Which I love that. I love when the coach keeps it real and say, hey, you want to respect us. That when it's personal, that's what we love. Did you see the interview with Jamal Williams after the game, where he went from crying and emotions about his great grandfather dying to saying, "You're gonna respect us. You're gonna respect us." I love that. Oh my God, that was great. That was great TV there.
No, a little off the topic. What possessed? What was it? That guy to push the training staff.
Yeah, he got issues. That's the only word to use.
You could tell by his look on his face when he was walking to the locker room, like it looked like he wanted to punch himself in the face.
Yeah, he's somebody they need to maybe like look into some serious counseling, some
mental health,
mental therapy, because there was no grounds whatsoever for him to ever put his hand on that guy like that.
And my wife pointed out, if you watch the play, I wish we had the permission of the NFL to do these replays, but the other player came in and basically walked up on the training staff too.
Yeah, it was a weird situation. I don't know what led to that. I mean, like I said, we don't know the what's being said on the field or what there could be a little more to it. But this guy has already been ejected from a game once this season, so I've never heard of a guy in the NFL get 2 ejections in one season. That's just unheard of.
Hey, that's hurting the pocket.
So yeah, and I mean, this is not some guy making a big contract, so he clearly got some mental issues, but I don't blame him for the game. I mean, they're trying to like make it out like that play costing the game. What costing the game was Aaron Rodgers, so-called $50 million man, had the chance to take the ball down the field for the game-winning drive, and he threw the interception that led to the win. So Green Bay, what's scaring me now is they're talking about him going to the Commanders.
Y'all need him.
Number one, that's not going to happen. No,
y'all need him.
He's not going to happen. He's not leaving Green Bay to go to Washington. Believe me, that's never what happened. But even if it did happen, that'd be such a mistake on the organization part. The organization's finally starting to get a little cohesion. There's finally starting to be a little bit of good feelings about themselves. That rookie guy, Howell, which we'll talk about tomorrow when we get into that whole why was Sam Howell not played until the very last game of the season when they knew all year this guy had some talents to him. I mean, people have been playing rookie quarterbacks all year. That guy should have been in the Browns game. And Rivera should be fired for that. Now, Rivera, we're going to get to the next coaching, was Scott Turner, who was the offensive coordinator for the Commanders. Rivera fired him yesterday and kind of left him as a scapegoat, saying that the offense was not what he expected. Well, how can the offense be what you expect when you went from Heineke, who I love to call Brett Favre without the arm, who was winning games.
Right.
You're going to take him out to put Wentz back in for no reason when you know that Wentz don't have the locker room. Wentz goes out and does what you expect Wentz to do, which is stink it up. Then you go back, and instead of bringing back Heineke, you bring back Howell. Howell should have played in the Browns game.
Now you see my pain when I used to tell you about the decisions Mr. Ron used to make when he was a Carolina coach.
Yeah, I mean, it made no sense at all.
This is justice, just seeing you going through what I went through. And you used to tell me, oh, he's a pretty good coach.
No, I said, to his credit, I'm going to tell you, when we had Gruden, Gruden was god-awful. Gruden was an embarrassment as a coach. I mean,
wow. He
was an embarrassment to have. Rivera came in and he did what I expected him to do, which was to bring a sense of respectability to the organization. The Commanders now are respectable. People now don't just look at the Commanders as a walkover. Now we need to fire Rivera and now bring in a real coach to actually win us to the playoffs. If we would have had a real coach the last 3 games, we'd be the playoff team. Let's remember, we were 7-5. All they had to do was win 2 games. They're in the playoffs of the last 5 games. They went, what was it, 2-1? If they would have gone 3-2, we're in the playoffs. So it is what it is.
I believe everybody's waiting for us to talk these playoff games that we're going to get into tomorrow. And finish up on these coaches and these quarterbacks tomorrow.
Oh, we got a whole lot to go over tomorrow.
Is there another game you want to go over besides the Detroit Green Bay game?
Detroit Green Bay was a good one. Let's try to see any other game that really stood out as being Tennessee, Jacksonville kind of went what I expected. I mean, it really hurts that, all these games that had playoff ramifications, you had rookie quarterbacks, third-string quarterbacks starting for the team. I think Miami ended up making the playoffs, but it kind of, hurts to see who was the guy, Skylar Thompson, being the starting quarterback of a meaningful game. Now, who tanked? Somebody tanked to cause the Dolphins to get in. Somebody had a chance to get that playoff spot. I know the Bills beat the Patriots.
What I want to talk about is that Cowboys-Washington game.
Oh, we're gonna. I was going to say that. Do you want to do it today? I was going to say that tomorrow because that's going to be a whole.
Okay.
Because when we talk about the Cowboys in the playoffs, as much as I hate the Cowboys, they better beat the Buccaneers because that laydown job they did against the Commanders yesterday, and we're going to get into it tomorrow in detail.
Oh, yes.
But that laydown they did
most definitely in detail.
I don't want to hear any Cowboy fans. And if you're a Cowboy fan, please call in.
Man, I
dare you to call in tomorrow.
I can hear them calling.
Let them call in. Please
call. I can hear them griping right now.
They can gripe all they want to. You're going to lose to the Commanders in a game where you had a chance for not just the division title, but the number 1 seed in a bye going into the game, and you're going to lay an egg like that?
They cost us money.
They cost us big money. Oh, my goodness.
I'm going to tell you where I made my money. I knew that Wooks was going to end on a good note, so I went with Carolina.
Yeah. Well.
I also, let me see, I went with
Our picks. Also tomorrow, we're going to go through and tell our champion of our office football picks tomorrow. So you got to come in to that so we can go ahead.
Oh, yeah. So we give these last gift cards
away because I'm going to be honest with you. I'm a little disappointed in myself. But, we'll talk about tomorrow.
That's hilarious, Steve. I want Minnesota.
Minnesota did what they're supposed to do.
Minnesota, Carolina, and KC.
Yeah, that was a good safe pick. KC always brings it. They're going to do what they got to do. Carolina,
I wish I would have put all the money on
it. That was one you knew. And that's the Raiders. We're going to talk about them today.
We're going to talk about them tomorrow because KC's in the playoffs.
Yeah, we're going to talk about that game. Because,
big show tomorrow. Please tune in tomorrow at 7 people. Yeah. Thank you for tuning in today. Please like, subscribe, and share. You got any last words, Steve?
No, just please come in tomorrow. 'Cause like I said, we're gonna get all into the season. We gotta talk about what's your opinions on who you guys think player of the year,
Yeah, we're gonna
coach
go
of the
through
year.
every team, and we're gonna tell you who we think is doing what and who's gonna go for the. It's gonna be a great show. I've already picked mine, but we'll go over that tomorrow.
Let me guess, the Steamboat.
Oh yeah,
All right.
Steamboat's got this.
All right.
And if you don't know who the Steamboats is, I'll let you know tomorrow.
Yes. All right. Well, I'm excited. Let's do it tomorrow. Same time, same station.
Yes, people. Thank you for tuning in. We'll see you tomorrow. Peace out.
Peace.
Oh man, I loved it.
Yeah, that was good.